Well, de Mistura was also talking about a cessation of hostility in Syria and how well it's holding up. Well, let's discuss this more with Jean-Marc Rickli, who's a lecturer in the Department of Defence Studies at King's College. He joins me now live from Geneva. Many thanks for joining us. How well do you think the ceasefire is holding up?
How old, sorry?
Mr. Rickli, how well do you think that the ceasefire is holding up in Syria?
Right. Obviously, you have to have expectation that commensurate with what happened over the last 5 years. So it's not a total ceasefire, as we have seen. There have been violation on both sides, but there is a remarkable, visible lowering of violence that has allowed the international community to provide humanitarian aid. So on that side, I think that should be welcome, because we have to think about the people on the ground in Syria that have been through tremendous violence over the last 5 years, and therefore it's a good sign that they can manage to get some food. Nonetheless, the violence is not over, and therefore the basis for the ceasefire are still very shaky and still very weak.
Who do you think is benefiting the most from this temporary truce that we've got there?
Well, if we look at how we get there, basically you had troops supported by Russia and also our groups on the ground who made major advances on the ground over the last 2 weeks, and therefore obviously they benefit from this, because through the ceasefire the position on the ground are now being justified. On the other hand, the opposition has been weakened quite a lot, and for them it brings a breathing space to actually recover from the last 2 or 3 weeks that were pretty hard on them. So therefore, both sides have some interest in this ceasefire, but obviously those who are the most to gain is the Assad regime, because they are in a position of strength.
Indeed, given their strength, I mean, do you hold much hope for these ceasefire talks, which Staffan de Mistura is hoping to start again on March 9th? Do you hold any hope for those?
Well, it has been a very bumpy and long journey, and I think that this ceasefire allows at least the American and the Russian to engage and to speak at the same level. For the first time, Russia, since 2014, has been acknowledged as a talking partner. The situation obviously is different on the ground, because the interests are very different. So key question and the key dilemma for the forthcoming Geneva negotiation will be how to capitalize on this ceasefire, because none of the problems that emerged over the last 5 years have been solved so far, and therefore there will be time for solving these problems. Does the ceasefires herald a new phase of cooperation where there could be some agreement between the parties? That remains to be seen. I personally doubt it so far, but for that to happen, the ceasefire would need to last probably a bit longer.
Okay, Jean-Marc Rickli, good to get your thoughts. Jean-Marc, a lecturer in Department of Defence Studies at King's